What we have is we have the Supreme Court of the United States of America um, making one of the better decisions they have ever made in a 6-3 um, ruling. They have decided that the Civil Rights Act covers LGBTQ community. So that means, federally speaking, one cannot be fired for being gay, for being transgender, for being bi, for being a lesbian, for being queer. They can't fire you. Um, they have they have actually determined that the word sex um, is all inclusive of gender, and it has absolutely nothing to do with what one does in one's bedroom. That firing somebody for what they do in their bedroom is against the Civil Rights Act. So, and that also moves over to transgender. Um, how one presents oneself is not a reason for dismissal. I think that's awesome. So I have a couple of things that I want to read regarding this decision. I have to put my glasses on. So the um, Neil Gorsuch, Trump's appointee, actually is the one who he and Roberts both sided with the four liberal justices, and he actually wrote the decision. And in that decision, he says an employer who fires an individual for being homosexual or transgender fires that person for traits or actions it would not have questioned in members of a different sex. Sex plays a necessary and indisguisable role in the decision, exactly what Title VII forbids, Gorsuch wrote. There is simply no escaping the role intent plays here. Just as sex is necessarily but for cause when an employer discriminates against homosexual or transgender employees, an employer who discriminates on these grounds inescapably intends to rely on sex in its decision making, the opinion read. Uh, Steve Vladeck, CNN Supreme Court analyst and professor at the University of Texas School of Law, says, today's decision is one of the court's most significant rulings ever with respect to the civil rights of gay and transgender individuals. And um, Justice Samuel Alito is one of the court's conservatives. He's one of the three that dissented. And he wrote in his dissent that even if discrimination based on sexual orientation or gender identity could be squeezed into some arcane understanding of sex discrimination, the context in which Title VII was enacted would tell us that this is not what the statute's terms were understood to mean at the time. Um, Whatever that meant, if you guys can um, wade through all of that and decipher what he actually meant by that, as far as I'm concerned, it's just a bunch of conservative mumbo jumbo. But um, the other the other justice who wrote another dissent was Brett Kavanaugh. I have no love for the man at all. I think that he's a douche. But um, I was rather intrigued by his dissent. Um, Meanwhile, Justice Brett Kavanaugh, another conservative on the bench, acknowledged the social and political progress achieved by members of the LGBTQ community, but nonetheless dissented. He said they had advanced powerful policy arguments and can take pride in today's result. Under the Constitution's separation of powers, however, I believe that it was Congress's role, not this court's, to amend Title VII. I therefore must respectfully dissent from the court's judgment. Now, while I really, really do not like the man, I kind of have to agree with what he was saying. Um, the House passed a bill last year that did just exactly that. However, Mitch McConnell um, was not, he has not yet let it go through the Senate, even for a look. Um, so McConnell is holding back exactly what Brett Kavanaugh said Congress needs to do. Um, so I looked at his dissent as saying something paramount to um, it's McConnell's fault that it had to fall onto us. Um, he dissented. He probably used it as a scapegoat. I mean, he probably was just passing the buck. He was probably just doing what was politically expedient rather than what is actually um, decent. However, um, that being said, um, we got it, guys. Um, and the ramifications of this particular decision will actually be felt for a very long time. This decision um, made with one of Trump's appointees is actually going to wind up biting Trump in the ass um, because he has allowed LGBT, particularly transgender people, to be fired on the federal level, and that has become um, that has now become something that is unconstitutional, um, which means that his executive order is now unconstitutional and will more than likely, um, if it's not already based on the Supreme Court decision, will be overturned and hundreds of people will get their jobs back. We have really good news today. We have great news for Pride Month, and um, it is it is expedient on us as a community to continue what we're doing by fighting and standing with Black Lives Matter. We've got a success. Let's celebrate today. Let's celebrate on Pride weekend as much as we can with the quarantine and social distancing and all of that. Let's celebrate that. But also, we need to remember that our battle here has been won, um, but the war isn't over. But we still have battles on other fronts that we have to remember to be a part of. If we won this battle, think of what we can do for our Black brothers and sisters. So let's remember that we can celebrate, but we still have ways to go before civil rights across the board are granted to everyone. Um, so while we are rejoicing in this, let's remember that Black lives still matter and that we must stand with our Black brothers and sisters. But enjoy the day, enjoy this incredible step forward that puts a chink in the armor of the conservatives who want to hold us down and throw us back into the closet. All right. For now, I'm going to sign off. If you like this video, um, please go ahead and click the like button and share it with your friends. Again, I don't have very much content on my channel, but I'm hoping that more people will see what I'm doing and will kind of enjoy my view on things. Today was not done with the script, other than just reading what the justices said. Um, I try not to talk too much without a script because I tend to stutter and do a lot of ums and that type of thing. So, but anyway, if you like this, um, let me know. Make some comments down there. If you're joyful at the decision, please make that. And if you disagree with the decision, um, you can put that on there too. But please keep it civil, okay? Please keep it civil. Anyway, so for now, ciao.